Hey everyone, and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Now, I hope you're ready to strap in. This is going to be quite the episode because we're going to be going back over our code, streamlining everything so it works way more efficiently, and we're going to be adding a bunch more content in here. So for everyone who's followed on from this point on, I apologize because the way we did it works. It did work. But it wasn't as efficient as it could have been. A lot of things like the player spawning in and loading the level, that's kind of all the same. But we've added a bunch of new stuff in, basically. There's a couple of things I'll show in another episode that are new, so we won't be kind of going over everything. But we've changed a bunch of things in a lot of these sort of areas. So first things probably first, we've got our creature strut. Let's open that up. So I've changed, I've added in a Ringmon class and a name. I've got rid of the Ringmon list because it makes life way harder to check against stuff down the line. So it's easier just to use a name value and just manually type it in instead of selecting it from a list. I suppose it creates a little bit more work, but to be honest, the results are a lot better. So, pretty happy with that. I've also added in is shiny, non-shiny matte, and shiny matte. So those are just the materials of the creature, which should be simple enough to change. If you're going to go and make two assets, you're going to have two different materials. So just use the same material on the same asset. And then we flip-flop the shiny using a boolean. So that's quite a major change. So let's open up our master and we can have a look what we've done with that. Now, some of this I'm still working on, so please bear with me, but I will cover these in future episodes as well. The shiny roll is still the same, just so you know, but we're just adding an extra step into that. But in the construct script, all we're doing is we're breaking that strut and we're just checking to see if it is shiny or not. And if it is, we'll set the shiny material. And if it's not, we set the non-shiny material. Now, element index should always be 0, but because our skeletal mesh at the moment comes with 2, wherever it is, where is the material? Why can't I find the material? Don't know. I don't know where it's gone. Where's the material gone? Don't know. Weird. Oh, it's because we don't have a mesh in there. That's why we don't have a mesh. But if you look at the Unreal, I'll open up one of the other ones. Let's open up Herbadger. Herbadger, where are your informations? Let's go onto that. Let's click the mesh. Yeah, there you go. We've got two different meshes. One is the chest and one of the limbs. But when I create models down the line, I'm hoping to only have one material element. If not, I'll just have to make sure it sets multiple material elements instead, but that's something we can just sort out down the line. So that's what this is doing basically. So with that setup, we can now basically call the shiny information, and we only have to create one creature object because everything else is the same, right? It's just the material that actually changes in the grand scheme of things. So that's that. Before we move on, I just want to say a big thank you actually to two people in the Discord for helping me out with everything from this point on. Mr. Meerkat and Thus Spoke Dominic, they've both basically been chatting to me about this, and Mr. Meerkat slightly more, to be honest, but both of them really have kind of been pointing me in the right direction and helping me think through some of my problems. So a big thank you to that. We also discussed in the Discord EVs and IVs. Now, IVs need to be rolled when you encounter a Pokemon or if you acquire a Pokemon. EVs will grow after every battle, basically. And the creature-based stats, those are determined now. So I've created this strut. I think I did this in previous episodes on the setup side of things. Where is it? Where's it gone? Where are you? Oh, you're there. Let's drag that onto here. So I was using the Ringmon list, but to be honest, I could probably change that to a name. I don't think I even need that, to be honest, because the row has the name for us. But we have HP. We don't need a max HP because it will only ever sit at that spot. Actually, no, we probably do, but it's fine. I'll fix that down the line when we come to actually look at it. We've got an attack max, defense max, etc. Accessories, special attack, defense, all that sort of stuff. And what I've done is I've put this into a data table that we can basically use now to create every single one. Now, obviously, I don't need this one, so that could probably get removed because we're not dealing with the shinies separately anymore. I've only set up her badger for the moment, but you can see how it's kind of panning out at the moment with everything. So that's that setup. We can close that now. So that's kind of how I set that up. I probably should show you a little bit better actually. Sorry, let me reopen it. So down here you can basically create a new row and you can give it the Ringmon list name. So if I wanted to set up another one like Shrubadger, for example, I can set that and I can name this Shrubadger. But that's why I don't think I need the Ringmon list anymore, because I check it against the row name anyway, not the Ringmon list. So that's actually not necessary. I don't think we need the Ringmon list on our thing anymore. So that's something I probably will change down the line. But yeah, you can just add a new row, give the row the name it the Pokemon name. That way it makes your life a little bit easier. Maybe leave the Ringmon list in there just so you can see the type, how it should be typed up. And then we will just save that and then we can close it. And we'll call that later on down the line when we want to set our base stats per encounter. The next thing we want, I guess, is to look at is so we have our typing list. We have an encounter struct and a possible encounters. So the encounter struct is just again something that probably needs to be changed at some point. Is it's a Ringmon name. We have the typing 1 and typing 2, which is essential to knowing what typings we need, and then we have a minimum and a maximum level that we want to pull through, so we can set that when the creature spawns. And then I've created a possible encounters, and this is a map and its name and float. And what is good about this is that you can create a new one and make it the same thing, type name and float, and make it route 2. And when you open up route 1, you can literally create a new map and set the name of the Pokemon you want to find and add to that route. And then this is basically the reason we've set it as a map with a float is so that we can also drive through the chances of that encounter. So the higher it is, the more likely you are to find it. The less it is, the less likely you are to find it. And we can set this to any name we want to find, and we can do it like that. I'm going to remove that for now. And then you can literally do the same thing with route 2, name, float, and then add more maps to it so that it adds more names and does it like that. And you'll see that working in a minute. The other thing that's changed is I don't believe I'm using these route 1 and route 1 structs anymore, so I probably will delete those out. We do have route 1 data table, which is what that encounter is, that encounter thing is, and it's got the row names and Ringmon names again, typing 1, typing 2, minimum level, maximum level. Again, I don't think I need the Ringmon name in there because it reads the row name from here. And again, you'll see this working in a minute. So that's the new setup with a lot of this sort of stuff. Now, the other thing I have done is I've created a save game file that normally I would save in our third-person character. But what I found to be more useful was saving it in the Ringmon game instance, because that carries forward any information you put into it. When we change levels, everything gets destroyed, right? All the information we have saved to this point. So by using the game instance, it will always remain true. It'll always save your information and store that information even though you're changing levels. It's the only thing, I believe, to hold your information. So in order to do that, what I've done is I've created an interface. I called it interface blueprint interface. Not the best name ever. I should have called it something else. But what we've got in here is a function that's called save encounter information. And what the inputs are is the selected encounter, which is an actor class. We've got encounter information, which is our creature struct. We're saving our encounter stats, which is our creature base stats, and our encounter IVs, which is our creature IV structure. Using that information, so what I've done is I've hooked this up to our encounter VP and our Ringmon game instance. So if you go open up your game instance, I created a new one. You guys probably want to do the same. And I've just gone to class settings, and if I drag this out a little bit, on the right hand side I've come down to inherited interfaces. I've added interface BPI so that we can call that function, and to do that you can literally just tap on it and it will tap on this side here. It used to be that you could right click and search for it and call it that way, but I found just tapping on this a couple of times brings this up. And then what we're doing is we're creating a save game object, and that save game object is a new Ringmon save game file I've created. And you can do that by right clicking Brute class and just search in the bar for save game. Oh, save game, and it comes up there. And that's how I got that. And in there is just, if you've watched my save and load episode, you'll know that it's just a series of values that we want to save. And those should be exactly the same typings as what we have that we want to be saved, basically. So, and then what we do is we create that save game object. We call set selected actor, and we call our creature info. We call our creature stats, and we set all four of those, and then we're pulling those through from here to set each one of these individually. Then we are setting our encounter save through the return. So I've just promoted that to a value, to a variable, sorry, and I've set it so we can use that if we ever need to down the line. And then I've saved the game to a slot. Now my slot name is called encounter slot, and the user index is 101. And then we open the level, which is our grass battle level, which we'll take a look at in a moment. So that's all new. This is all kind of new, saving the game. We didn't have that before. And then we want to now go into our encounter. So everything else now is going to happen in our encounter BP and our grass battle level. So let's go back into creatures and let's open up that encounter BP. So now I have changed stuff with the overlap, but I'm going to show that in another episode because that's all completely brand new. And then what happens is it comes to set encounter array. Now all of this stuff that we've done is not necessary anymore. We don't need to run that code at all. I've deleted it out. It's gone forever. Don't need it. I hope I did the right thing there. So what we're doing now is we're as you can probably see at first glance, it's all incredibly more fluid, and it's all running on one bit of code apart from two things here. I will need to change a few more things on here as I get shinies working and the IVs and the EVs working. But right now what this does is it rolls for shiny and then it spawns a creature no matter what. And it will pick one at random for us. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm actually rolling for a shiny. I want to know whether we're getting a shiny Pokemon or not, and that is at the moment set 1 out of 2. But so you've got a 50% chance of getting one. But obviously we'll change that back to the 1 in 4096 when testing is done. And then it's just setting the shiny, and we manually set if this is true, it sets it as shiny. If it's false, it sets it as not shiny. And all that's happening is in that creature info, it's setting that shiny set member in creature, and it sets only the shiny. So we've just clicked we want the shiny, and that's it, and then it returns that node to us. Now I think I already know how to fix this altogether, to be honest, which I will do, of course. Because what I think I want to do is I want to plug that into there. Who knows? And then that should set this creature info, which then goes into our save encounter info. That's kind of my thought process on it. It's all a bit messy, so I do apologize. Anyway, to be honest, I don't think I even need those. I could literally just fire that straight into the next section. But yeah, so we're getting our ringmon info that's in here, which is just our creature struct that I've called to here. So there's no information in this whatsoever. There's no information. All that's changing is that is shiny, true or false, and then we're resetting that. So all the other information is still the same. It's just all the information is still the same. It's just a case of changing that shiny option, and then we're rolling for our encounter, which I'll show you now. So this all came from Mr. Meerkat in the Discord. So big shout out to him for showing me a better way to roll for our encounter. Now in theory it's kind of similar, but he's using data tables and struts to work it way better than I ever would. So feel free to copy this along. So that possible encounters we created, we basically break to get that route 1 information. Now if we had all different routes, route 2, route 3, route 4, we would just plug in the one we wanted to encounter, and it would just amend that for us. We're getting now I've created 2 local variables called sum of arrays and roll. We set that sum of arrays to 0. We get the possible encounter values into a value array, and then we do a for each loop, so that basically every one of those values, that 0.5 we set, gets added to the sum of arrays, and then we set that. Once it's done, all the Pokemon that we want to have appear, it comes down to here, to our sum of array. We grab our sum of array, we get a random floating range of 0 to whatever that was. So if it was like 1.5, it'll get something between 0 and 1.5, and it'll set that as a roll. Then we get a list of possible encounters again. We get the keys in that present map, and we put that into a for each loop. And then we loop that based on it. We basically find the array, find the value associated with the provided key through this, and then we run a check to see if that is over or equal to our roll. Now if it's not true, we minus that roll away we minus the finded value from our roll, and then we reset our roll, which will then run this again, I believe, until it picks a chosen encounter out of those 3. And then what we're doing is that set encounter we've got, we then return that node. It's not the best explanation, so I do apologize, but follow the code. I promise you it does work. And it does pick a encounter based on what you set out. So at the moment I've got all of mine set to 0.5 for testing reasons, but I have tested it as well without that, and it does work really nicely. And what it does is it sets that name and puts it through back into our event graph. Then we get all of our actors of creature master. For each loop, we are basically checking for that name against this name. That's why I had to rechange it to name, and I couldn't have the ringmon list, because it would never equal. It would not equal for some reason. But by manually setting the name in here and in our chosen route list, it works far better. And whatever this was, once it's found that, we can basically, it'll come back true, and we can roll IVs, roll base stats, and then we set our creature information based on all of that output. The only other thing I've got left to do is to roll the stats, and that's I'm still working on. IVs are really simple. Again, Mr. Meerkat's got this to me, but I was like, oh yeah, I know how to do that, and he sent me exactly what I was going to do, so I was like, well, I might as well use it. So basically what we're doing is rolling random integers between 0 and 31, and we're setting that creature's IV information, and then returning that information. And then what we will do is we'll set that as the creature's IV information, which we haven't done quite yet, but we will do. That can be deleted. And then yeah, the IV will come out, or the stats will come out. The IV come out, there you go, and it goes straight into here. What I feel like I need to do though is I need to set the IVs in the creature and then get that to set through. But we'll see if that helps at any point whatsoever. And then we're rolling our base stats. Now I haven't finished this yet, but this is where the data table comes into play. That Route 1 data table. We get each row name of the creatures we've got in our Route 1. They're checking that against the name. Again, wouldn't work with a Ringmon list, so I had to change it to the name. And then when it comes back true, we can then say, right, put that row name into here. And then we're getting our minimum and our maximum level. We're getting a random integer between that. And then we're setting that as the creature's current level. And then that goes into creature info out. That's what's sort of being pushed along further. We then need to do our stats, and then that stat can come out into our stats as well. And then what I need to do is also set IVs and our... We need to set our IVs and our base stats of our creature that we've selected, and then fire that into here. So, and then that's where we call a message. So all you got to do is go, because again, class settings, we've got our interface BPI there. Again, terrible name. Save encounter info. We get the message. And that's what this is. And then we can, the target is our game instance. I don't know why it's all the way over there. Target is our game instance, because that's where we're saving everything. And then we just plug in the information we want to carry on. We get our Ringmon class, which is here. We plug that into the selected encounter. Creature info goes into encounter info, and of course stats go into stats and the IVs go into IVs. But again, I believe I need to set this individual creature's information here before we push it through. But that's it set up. That's how it's working for me. If I've missed anything, please leave a little comment. I'll be happy to explain parts of this, because it is very complicated. It's all very different to how we had it set up before. But let's play. We can have a little look at everything and see what happens. So, oh, there's nothing spawned in. Okay, let's see what happens now. Come on. Don't do this to me, game. Don't break on me now. Where's the spawned creature? Did I change something? I don't think I did. The only thing I can think I changed was in this. I plugged that straight in to this, and then could have sworn that's how it was before. Let's try again. Maybe pushing that through wasn't the best idea. Because that's how it was before. So I pushed that in there. There we go. Right. So I think I know how to fix the shiny and all the other stuff. I think I'm doing it too soon. So we're getting Oster, but the encounters is working. So that's how it was set up before. But I think what I changed with the shiny going straight into there doesn't work because there's no information in there, right? So I need to set that information somehow. But I know how I'm going to do it now. So that's fine. I can do that in the next episode. We're still getting Oster. Why are we not getting anything else? Come on, give me something. Give me a different. Give me a different Ringmon. Come on. Give me Tailflame or Herbadger. There we go, Herbadger. So you can see it's working. It's working completely fine. It's spawning the creatures in. We're nearly done with setting everything up now so that it works quite fluidly between one another. I haven't seen Tailflame yet. Where's Tailflame? Bring me Tailflame. But yeah, as I said, massive shout out to the two in the Discord. Big thank you for talking me through things and making me real. There you go, got Tailflame. Making me realise where I could be bettering the code. It's not so much that it was broken because I had it working. It's just doing it this way is far better than it was before. So yeah, the problem is here is this information. This is blank. This Ringmon info is blank. So this actually has, if you look at it, no data in it. We're not pulling this from the creature. So what I need to do, which I will do in the episode where I set up the base stats, is I need to pull this Ringmon information from the creature. So basically what I think I need to do at the moment is remove this set shiny for a second. Just for a second. What I need to do is just set this shiny value here, is shiny here. So set it true, false, and then move on. Roll the encounter. Then from here we can get our creature information. We can fire this through the is shiny, roll IVs, roll base stats, and then come out the other end with a set module like this, where this has been pushed through, because this will hold the information, and in here we're only changing specific struts. We're not changing everything, so the information we don't touch will stay the same, but it'll just flick on the is shiny, isn't shiny, etc. But at the moment it's not going to do that when there's nothing else set. It's blank. So that's how I'm going to do it. That's the change that's coming in the next episode. We're also going to roll our footstep counter or whatever in the next episode too. So thank you so much guys for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Hopefully all your systems will be running far better now because of this episode. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and of course subscribe if you're not already. It's free to do, and you can always change your mind. Thanks so much guys. Take care. Bye bye.